Good morning, graduates, guests, and alumni. Welcome to the first Newcastle University graduation event in Malaysia. Today we will celebrate the achievement of 17 MBBS graduates and 2 PhD graduates. The ceremony will be conducted by Professor Sir Liam Donaldson, Chancellor. When the academic procession enters the room, I will ask you to stand until Sir Liam sits on stage. During the ceremony, each graduate will be announced and will receive their Newcastle University hood on stage before shaking hands with Sir Liam. Could I please ask that you show your support by applauding every graduate? The ceremony will begin shortly. Could I ask please you to turn off your mobile phones, please? Thank you and enjoy your day.
I declare open this ceremony which is being held for the conferment of degrees. Well, good morning and welcome everybody. I'm Liam Donaldson, the Chancellor of the University, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here this morning with senior members of the University for this extremely important day. As you know, a huge amount has been achieved at NewMed in a relatively short space of time, from the initial proposal in 2006 through the building of the new campus, its opening in 2011, which many of us were here for, to today, which sees the graduation of the first cohort of students admitted to the program in 2009. So in 2010, when Newcastle University established its permanent presence in Malaysia, there were only 3 members of staff. Now, after 4 years here, the staff number has risen to over 100. And in addition to the university's MBBS degree program, last year we saw the launch of its highly successful BSc Honours in Biomedical Sciences program. Of course, the early success of NewMed is not just measured by numbers, but also by its growing reputation for quality. The Newcastle University MBBS program delivered here in NewMed has been subject to the most robust testing and stringency assessments of external quality assurance, both by the General Medical Council in the United Kingdom, but also the Malaysian Medical Council and the Malaysian Qualifications Agency. And as we hoped, NewMed has come through with flying colours, and our graduates, present and future, can be sure that the high standards of Newcastle University have been replicated here in Malaysia. NewMed has seen many firsts. Newcastle University is the first UK university to establish a fully owned international branch campus for medicine. After a 5-year multi-cycle quality assurance process, the General Medical Council has approved our MBBS program delivered in Malaysia as a UK primary medical qualification, and confirmed that our graduates will be eligible for provisional registration as doctors with the Council. And together with the Malaysian Ministry of Health and the medical education authorities in England, the General Medical Council has approved our program for provisionally registered doctors in Malaysia. This program, based on the Malaysian House Officer experience, will allow graduates to proceed to full registration with the councils in Britain and in Malaysia, and it's only the first such program approved outside the United Kingdom. These may seem bureaucratic administrative details, but these aspects of regulation are very, very important to ensuring high standards of medical practice in the future, and giving the graduates the stamp of approval, which means that they're recognised throughout the world for the quality of their clinical skills. So this is a very special group of students. You are a very special group of students, pioneers, and there's a very strong emotional bond has developed between the initial cohorts of students here in Malaysia and the academic staff in Newcastle University, both at home in Newcastle, but more particularly here at NewMed in Malaysia. And I'd like at this point to pay special tribute to 2 people, Professor Reg Jordan and Liz Smith, who have really, this whole medical school endeavour would not have been possible without their huge commitment and enthusiasm and dedication. And we are really delighted that they're able to play key roles in the ceremony today, but more importantly, the time that they've spent over the years since the first proposal was made has been a decision, a vital part of the process and the success of the medical school. So just a few words now to you new graduates. Despite being graduates of one of the premier medical education centres of the world in Newcastle, you're partly prepared for the journey ahead, and the rest of your career will be building on the foundations of the education that you've had here at NewMed. You're being given a privilege, as all those entering the medical profession do get, and it's a privilege to serve your fellow citizens, men and women, at their time of greatest need. To be a patient for some people means to suffer pain and indignity, to feel loneliness, sometimes to feel despair and almost to abandon hope. So the challenge for you doctors in the future will be not only to treat the diseases that you see, but to reach out to people at their time of greatest need, not just to heal, but to care. The novelist Graham Greene once said, "Every writer must have a chip of ice in their heart." And the same could be said of doctors. You need that cool objectivity, just as a novelist depicts their characters standing back from them. A doctor needs to diagnose and treat their patients, standing a little back from them. But that's a chip of ice, not a block of ice. Excuse me. And the objectivity necessary for good medical practice needs to be harnessed with compassion. And you all came into this place for your training driven by compassion. And one of the greatest challenges you face in the career before you is to keep that flame of compassion burning. The challenge is to keep seeing the person, not just the disease. And in the high-pressure, fast-moving, modern clinical environments in which many of you will practice, there will be multiple calls on your time and multiple pressures. But it's still important to see the person, not just the case record number. And on a day when you're exhausted, to see the person, not just the barrier to you getting back to your bed. And in the welter of high technology that constitutes modern medicine, to see the person, not just the tubes and wires and electrodes that connect them to machines. To see the person who's sick and distressed as someone's mother, someone's father, someone's brother, to see them as someone's precious child, and to give that person the best of you, the very best of you, whatever time of day or night you encounter them. So that's your destiny as you embark on the next stage of the journey in this new profession that you've joined. And I don't think, knowing what I've seen and heard of you and your great commitment to your careers, I don't think any of you will be found wanting in that challenge of keeping the flame of compassion burning. So we congratulate you today on this great achievement, and particularly thank those family and friends who've given you their great support during this period that you've spent at NewMed. And some of us who are a little older now look at you a little wistfully and envy your position starting out on such an exciting road. We wish we could be there with you in those very important times. So it just remains for me again to say congratulations. We very much look forward to you coming across the stage to formally pass through the gateway into your new profession. Congratulations and all best wishes for the future.
Mr. Chancellor, I certify that the graduates to be presented at this congregation have satisfied all the requirements of the University of Newcastle upon Tyne. Mr. Chancellor, Professor Reg Jordan prays leave to present graduates who are qualified to proceed to degrees in the Faculty of Medical Sciences and the Faculty of Science, Agriculture and Engineering.
Professor Jordan, please.
Mr. Chancellor, I present to you graduates to be admitted to the degrees of Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery in the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Science, Agriculture and Engineering.
By the authority of the university, I admit these graduates to the degrees for which they are now qualified.
The following graduates are presented for the degree of Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. Mohammed Afdal bin Abdul Hadim.
Congratulations.
Mohammed Musafa bin Abdullah. Ahmad Zaid bin Jasmine.
Congratulations.
Mohammed Afandi bin Mustafa.
Congratulations.
Wan Mohammed Zalhilmi bin Wan Ibrahim.
Congratulations.
Mohammed Yusri bin Yusuf.
Congratulations.
Dayang Nur Akmalia binti Abang Ali Bul Hassan.
Congratulations.
Naliza Adlinda binti Abdul Jalil.
Congratulations.
Nafisa binti Abdul Rashid. Who also receives the TMTO Prize for the Best Academic Performance in Stage 5 and the Walton Prize for the Best Academic Performance across all stages of the degree programme. Siti Nashafika binti Abdullah. Kauza binti Hazman, who also shares the TMTO Prize for the Best Academic Performance in Stage 5. Sayafika Najmi binti Khalid.
Congratulations.
Noorul Fakir binti Mohammed Noor.
Congratulations.
Irina Natasha binti Zakaria.
Congratulations.
Chao Pak Kwa. Ho Ka Liang. Li Hui Hui. The following graduates are presented for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Kariria binti Mat.
Congratulations.
Teresa Sparhat.
Congratulations.
Professor Jordan will now lead the graduates in declaring their commitment to a code of good medical practice. Medical graduates, will you please stand?
Repeat after me. I do solemnly declare that as a Doctor of Medicine from Newcastle University, I will exercise my profession to the best of my knowledge and ability for the good of all persons. You can start. I will make the care of my patients my first concern, keep my professional knowledge up to date, and recognise the limits of my professional competence.
I will make the care of my patients my first concern, keep my professional knowledge up to date, and recognise the limits of my professional competence.
I will treat every patient politely, with respect and dignity.
I will treat every patient politely, with respect and dignity.
I will treat my patients considerately, respect their views, provide them with information, and involve them in decisions about their care.
I will treat my patients considerately, respect their views, provide them with information, and involve them in decisions about their care.
I will work with my colleagues in healthcare professions in ways that best serve my patients' interests.
I will work with my colleagues in the healthcare professions in ways that best serve my patients' interests.
I will respect and aid those learning to acquire skills and competencies for the care of patients.
I will respect and aid those learning to acquire skills and competencies for the care of patients.
I will be honest and trustworthy, respect and protect confidential information, ensure that my personal beliefs do not prejudice my patients' care, act quickly to protect my patients from risk, and will not abuse my position as a doctor.
I will be honest and trustworthy, respect and protect confidential information, ensure that my personal beliefs do not prejudice my patients' care, act quickly to protect my patients from risk, and will not abuse my position as a doctor.
In all these matters, I will never discriminate unfairly against my patients or colleagues.
In all these matters, I will never discriminate unfairly against my patients or colleagues.
I will hold in due regard the honourable obligations of the medical profession, doing nothing inconsistent therewith.
I will hold in due regard the honourable obligations of the medical profession, doing nothing inconsistent therewith.
Above all, I dedicate my professional life to the service of those entrusted to my care.
Above all, I dedicate my professional life to the service of those entrusted to my care.
You may sit. I am delighted now to introduce to you our student orator, Ho Ka Liang. Ka Liang will address the congregation on behalf of the graduates who are celebrating their success today.
My fellow graduates, guests, and esteemed scholars of Newcastle University Medicine, Malaysia. It is my honor to address you and the class of 2014. I believe today is filled with mixed feelings and emotions. The joy of graduation, but the sadness of knowing this wonderful part of the journey has come to an end. So let us reflect on some of the many wonderful parts of this journey. I am certain most of the stories and experiences that are told here today will echo amongst many of you. I see our experience in NewMed like the ocean voyages of the great explorer Christopher Columbus. With this dream, Newcastle had a dream of delivering a world-class medical education in Malaysia. With this dream in mind, they built the ship of NewMed, but before they can set sail, they will need a brave and adventurous crew. And this was when we came into the picture. We joined Newcastle on its epic journey towards this dream. Over the years, it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were periods of rough seas and harsh storms. As we are the pioneering batch, we have experienced firsthand how difficult it can be to start up something new, but we never gave up. We all worked together, supporting each other, and move forward. And because of that, we have developed a very strong and close bond between the university and us. In phase 2, we were introduced to life in the hospital wards. I believe one of the very first skills we have learned was how to avoid eye contact with the consultants. Because the consequences of failing to do so may be devastating. Remember how students always seem to be in the way? Remember the look that doctors gave when they were not convinced about what you've said, and the nervous look they had when you were attempting any procedures. But as time goes by, we became more mature and confident. That was when we began to shine. Look back to those moments where patients have benefited as a result of your involvement, either on things you've contributed during ward rounds, or helping out the team, or even explaining medical concepts to the patients. Remember those joyful moments when patients express their gratitude towards your help. Those words of encouragement and praises from doctors when you did a good job. And the moment you finally gain the acknowledgement of the consultants and the trust of the hospital team. These past 5 years have been the most hectic, most exciting, and most thought-provoking period of my life, and I would never change any of it. I firmly believe that we have all developed the knowledge, the skills, and the confidence to practice medicine, but unfortunately, most of us have also developed an addiction to caffeine. Besides that, we have grown from a shy medical student into a mature and confident person. So the time has come for us to leave the ship of NewMed to another ship which is infamously known as the Houseman ship. New sets of challenges lie ahead of us, and I believe that all of us will succeed. I would like to remind all of us that as we strive to better ourselves, it is important to constantly reflect on ourselves so that we do not become the very consultants we tend to avoid. Before I end my speech, and on behalf of all the graduates here today, I would like to say thank you. Thank you, NewMed, and all the staff for everything that you have done for us. Thank you to all the inspiring lecturers who patiently explained the art of science and medicine to us. We are also grateful to all the hospital staff from Hospital Sultan Ismail and also the various clinic kesihatan for taking us in and imparting their knowledge to us. And last but not least, a very big thanks to our beloved family, friends, and beloved partners, as we will not be here today without your love and support. Thank you.
Senate has resolved to confer the degree of Doctor of Medicine honoris causa upon Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah.
Chancellor, I'm going to start by saying something that no patient ever wants to hear from their doctor, especially their surgeon. I have not done one of these before. Namely, speak in Malaysian. So here goes. forgive me, Tuan Tuan Dan Puan Puan. Sebagi Pemidato Awum Untuk Newcastle University, saya dengan berbisa hati menggalu alukan Anda semua ke majlis penyampaian ijazah ini secara khususnya anugerah izat kehormat Dr. Perubatan. I'm afraid there's a little bit more, and please feel free to laugh. Upakara penyampaian ijazah adalah kemunkak bagi mana-mana Kalanda University dan kami menggalu alukan Anda semua di sini pada peristiwa yang menggembirakan hari ini. Chancellor, today is indeed a momentous day for Newcastle University, and in particular Newcastle University in Malaysia. In addition to the graduation of the first cohort of medical students, now doctors, it is my privilege to present to you Datuk Seri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah for an honorary degree in our university. Not only as an outstanding doctor and surgeon, but also as a health advisor and strategist for his country, we salute him. For his day-to-day delivery of care to sick people, as well as his vision and delivery of that vision for health services in Malaysia. As I run through some of his distinctions and contributions that more than adequately justify this degree, I would like to draw to the attention of our newly qualified doctors and colleagues in the audience this doctor as a role model. If they can adopt even a small proportion of the qualities that he has, then they will be not only a successful but also a good doctor. So beginning at the start of his career, he qualified in 1988 from the National University of Malaysia as a medical doctor. He achieved his mastership in surgery in 1994, again from the National University of Malaysia, and he then did training in breast and subsequently endocrine surgery based in Australia as well as in his home country. Along the way, in 2008, at the Oxford University Business School, he undertook an advanced management program period of study. Finally, taking up his appointment as a consultant surgeon and head of department in the surgery department in Putrajaya. However, being a successful and a good doctor, the term good doctor is one I will return to later, is much more than just gathering qualifications, awards, and honours. First and foremost, Hisham has always placed the patient at the front of his agenda. It has been my privilege to know him as a colleague and a surgeon for many years, but also to have worked with individuals who have been part of his surgical team. It's what you learn from the other members of the team about him that impresses. He is not a man who goes around telling you of his achievements and his abilities. There are plenty of those in our branch of the profession who do. But when you work with people who've worked with him, you hear about his dedication, his commitment, and above all, his care for his patients. As an operating surgeon, he is without doubt exceedingly gifted. He has a worldwide reputation for the management of complex thyroid disease, and it was my pleasure as president of the British Association of Endocrine and Thyroid Surgeons to invite him to be the principal speaker at our annual meeting a few years ago in London on this topic. The occasion was followed with grateful thanks to Lord Walton, a strong supporter of Newcastle Medical School, with a memorable dinner at the House of Lords. Another measure of a good doctor is whether other doctors want you to treat them. Hisham is definitely the doctor's surgeon, and perhaps even more critically, the surgeon's surgeon. Having led the development of endocrine surgery in Putrajaya and Kuala Lumpur, he has set up satellite units around the country, and he has been an advocate for specialisation. However, the breadth of his vision is far, far greater than simply his own particular area of interest and expertise. As a moderniser with a strong emphasis on improving the quality of training, His undoubted excellence as a clinical academic will ensure that the Malaysian people will get the best medical service possible. His appointment as Director General to the Ministry of Health reflects his commitment and his ability to look beyond the immediate foreground and plan strategically for the future. An example of this is the new Cancer Institute, which he has set up in Putrajaya. It was my privilege last year to be shown round this almost exactly a week after it had opened. This is a state-of-the-art facility which can provide the best of medical care for Malaysia and beyond. It is breathtakingly elegant with all of the latest facilities, up to and including a monorail link direct to the airport. As I've mentioned before, despite the huge demands on his time both as a clinician and latterly as a government advisor, he has created space to be able to guide and advise us through our dealings with the regulatory bodies and supported us strongly in our dealings with the Ministry of Health in Malaysia. Without doubt, his support of NewMed has helped the university establish our branch campus here, ensuring that the key stakeholders in the various Malaysian ministries have taken Newcastle views and representations seriously. In turn, we hope that the doctors who qualify from NewMed will, at least in part, stimulate the evolution of an improved health service in Malaysia, satisfying his vision and ambition. In all of his dealings, he has been a self-effacing, honest, reflective, analytical, and cultured man. He is an individual with huge credibility and integrity. In the preparation for this citation, Hisham, I contacted one of your trainers and mentors in Adelaide, Rob Parkin. I asked Rob, did he have any stories about you that I could sprinkle into this citation that might raise a laugh or even an eyebrow? Rob's reply to me was that there are no stories about Hisham. His words, he is squeaky clean. And that in itself speaks volumes from one of your greatest supporters and trainers. Rob's wife, Noel, made the following observation. His biggest problem is in making Australian and British men seem rather average when compared to himself. He is a gentleman, handsome, the perfect man. That was Noel. Richard Bliss. Richard Bliss, my colleague in Newcastle, who was with you in the Sydney unit when you did some training there together, likewise said to me that all of his dealings with you confirmed that you had personal qualities which made you an outstanding clinician and leader. When the International Association of Endocrine Surgeons Masterclass faculty visited you in 2012 in your government office, we subsequently met with the Minister of Health, and at the end of that meeting, the three faculty members, myself, Peter Malacca and Rob Parkin, were to return to our hotel. You very kindly inquired how we were going to do that, and we said we would order a taxi. Not satisfied with that, you said, no, I will organise a car for you from the ministry. So we arrived at our hotel in a ministerial car. Sadly, this was at the end of our stay in Malaysia, having completed the masterclass, because I can share with you that there is only one way to arrive at a hotel, and that is in a government ministerial car. From that moment on, the already very attentive and friendly staff were even more attentive and friendly, and could not have been more helpful and supportive. Rob, Peter and myself chuckled with amusement and pleasure at this momentarily and unexpected promotion and attention. Your quest and your drive to examine and explore new things that might be better is also exemplified with the follow-up to a brief conversation we had a few years ago regarding acupuncture. I explained to you that when in China in 1992, I had performed a thyroid operation under acupuncture, and I was amazed to be able to speak to the patient through an interpreter throughout the procedure. And whilst not exactly understanding how acupuncture worked, I was nevertheless convinced that it did indeed work. That brief conversation led you recently to take a trip to China and to research the opportunities and possibilities of conducting surgery under acupuncture. And almost 2 years ago, it was a memorable email that I received from you saying, "Many thanks, I have just completed my first thyroidectomy under acupuncture." Earlier this year, you reported your unique experience in this procedure to an international meeting with widespread interest shown by many in developing this technique. So what we see here is a glimpse of someone who has the germ of an idea, who follows it through, who puts in personal effort and study into the question and then brings it back for the benefit of his patients. These are all indeed part of the qualities of what I have previously mentioned, a good doctor. Finally, to balance the equation of work and achievement in your profession, which has been at the highest level, it is only right to record the support and love that you have shown for your family. The new doctors who have qualified today will also need to take account of their need to maintain a healthy and happy life outside medicine. Medicine can become all-consuming, and it is essential to have the balance between your life as a doctor, as you have, and your life outside medicine correctly in proportion. Chancellor, I hope you will agree that Datuk Suri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah is not just a worthy candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Medicine from Newcastle University, but he exceeds in many domains the quality and the expectations that we might measure to justify such an award. I commend him to you for the award of an honorary degree in medicine, honoris causa.
By the authority of the University, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine, honoris causa. Many congratulations.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellency, Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor and Deans, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and I wish you all a very good afternoon. First and foremost, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the top management of the University of Newcastle upon Tyne for the most prestigious honor. All the beautiful words are spoken about me and my work in endocrine surgery and health administration of the country, which I personally considered as a national service. Thank you, Professor Tom Leonard, my dear friend and colleague, for being here, and indeed, I'm very touched and humbled by your fine crafted oration and words. Ladies and gentlemen, trying to draw attention to my thoughts and action. Never in my wildest dream to be here today, recognized and appreciated in leading the nation in a healthcare transformation for better health. Never did I ever dream to be an administrator, let alone the Director General of Health in this country. In my heart, ever since I was a medical student, I have always wanted to be a surgeon, and I have achieved to be a reputable breast and endocrine surgeon in this country. Nonetheless, I must admit that the training in endocrine surgery has given me a better understanding and approach of any subject matter where balance of the hormones are inevitable at all times, before, during, and after surgery. These basic principles perhaps are forthcoming and remains as my core values in my evidence-based management, decision-making based on facts and data, keeping the system in balance while we transform for a better healthcare system in the near future. Today I come to this hall with humility to accept the honor and recognition given to me. I hear the endorsement in the loudest voice from an established University of Newcastle upon Tyne. That itself is the greatest award that I could ever receive anywhere, anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, we have taken steps to transform our healthcare to better cater for the needs of our population. We are strengthening the public healthcare sector to cut wastages, cost-effective and cost-efficient management to improve the delivery of our services. We also need to embrace the information communication technology in healthcare, as well as integrating the healthcare provided by the public and the private sector. The services need to be re-engineered to provide better care and shorter hospitalizations. Never in history we see tremendous progression and evolution of healthcare. We are moving into an era of data-driven, performance-based monitoring engagement, and genomic-based medicine. As for the public, not long ago, they might seek second opinion having had the first consultation with you. On the contrary, today, when they need information about any illness, they search on the internet. They have access to more medical knowledge than our doctors used to have via their medical books and journal. And the information is more than up to date than those medical books were. They can read about the latest medical advances anywhere in the world. The public can now visit online forums to learn from others with the same symptom, provide each other with support and discuss the side effect of the medicine prescribed, and download apps that help them manage healthcare better. All these are endless possibilities unfolding in our lifetime. Ladies and gentlemen, with great honor that you give me today on this special occasion, you reinforce my firm belief that we can create a much healthier world, much better than what we have ever done before. Let us all believe in our capacity and come together as one to make a big difference in healthcare and health education in this country and in this region. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention.
Will you please stand?
This congregation is now dissolved.